As I mentioned, we will be bringing you live commentary of Aston Villa against Lille. The Ollie Watkins goal from the first leg, the difference between the two sides heading into this second leg. You can hear the atmosphere really building into this one, with kickoff just a few minutes away. And it will be the former Villa captain Andy Townsend who'll be alongside Sam Matterface. Let's bring Andy Townsend back into it. It feels as though the crowd are really up for this one, Andy.
Oh, they certainly are, Nat. Yeah, they're really looking forward to it. It's a big night. Again, big expectation. The league's form has dropped away a little bit recently. Now's the time to bounce back and show not only all the crowd here tonight, but show all the other teams in Europe that Villa are very much the team to beat in this competition. I think they can do that tonight against this particular team. I really do.
Do you feel that it'll come to a point where Emery might have to, should this tie go to plan, have to sort of prioritise one over the other, a bit like what Ange Postecoglou ended up doing with Tottenham last season?
I think at the moment probably no, but it may come down to that. Certainly, if the league form doesn't improve quickly, then it may well transpire that's going to be the obvious route. That he's got to put this one first. But I think as we are where we are today, I still think you've got to make sure you're really ambitious with your league form and you take this competition very, very seriously.
And of course, this is a massive opportunity for Tammy Abraham to sort of really make a statement for Aston Villa.
It really is a big chance for him tonight. Look, anyone who gets the nod now at this stage of the season, when you're involved in big competitions, you want to hang on to that shirt. As I mentioned earlier, Tammy has been productive when he's come on. He's looked like he can finish. I think he's, after his spell, over in Italy and elsewhere in Turkey, I think he's a more rounded individual now, and I think he's got better aspects all round to his game. What he's got to do is, when he gets chances, he now knows he's not a kid anymore. He knows you've got to step up and you've got to deliver. So tonight's one of those nights. If he does it, if he really steps up and plays very well, then all of a sudden he gives Unai a very nice problem.
If he was to have a really strong end to this season, could he possibly get into the thoughts of Thomas Tuchel, or is that too late, do you think?
I'm not sure about that one. Now, I don't know. I think for Tammy, I think he'd have to be exceptional.
Yeah.
I think he'd have to go on a real exceptional run. I don't quite see that happening. But look, you never know. There's still a long way between now and the summer. Players could get injured. There could be opportunities for one or two on the edges, on the fringes. He's got to believe that he can figure. He's got to keep producing the goods.
I suppose it's just because we're still none the wiser, really, as to who could be that Harry Kane understudy, Andy. Yeah,
there's options there. Ollie, obviously, one or two others that have perhaps been in and around it a little bit more of a regular basis. Nothing concrete yet, Nan. So it's always a chance for you to go and make yourself available. Indeed.
Don't forget that Crystal Palace are in extra time in their Conference League, as are Nottingham Forest in Denmark, as they take on FC Midtjylland in the Europa League. We will continue to keep you right across everything that is happening in Europe. This game, though, at Villa Park is brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. You can tune into Talksport 2 to listen in to how Forest are faring against FC Midtjylland. 2-2 it is on the night, on aggregate, that is. Although Palace are 2-1 up now on aggregate in their game in Cyprus. Villa hold a 1-0 lead over Lille from that first leg, so can they get the job done, secure a place in the Europa League quarter-finals? Well, Unai Emery, as we know, has an incredible record in this competition. He has a 100% record of advancing from the last 16 of the Europa League as well. And the teams are now out, so let's hand you over to your match commentators for this one. It's the former Aston Villa captain Andy Townsend, who is alongside Sam Matterface.
Natalie, good evening to you, and I must say, welcome to a vibrant and raucous Villa Park, where we've had a blue and claret mosaic which has paid tribute to the 100 wins of Unai Emery, and bright red flares that have been set off in the away end opposite us, with the Lille fans trying to contribute to the atmosphere, which is crackling. 9 Premier League teams qualified for the knockout stages of Europe's 3 competitions. Only one walked away with victory last week after the first leg. That was Aston Villa. Schooled and steered by a European expert, desperate to make a success of a season that promised so much but has started to stutter just a little bit. Villa have their noses in front in this tie, courtesy of an Ollie Watkins inventive header in Lille 7 days ago, but it is just a nose, and he's left on the bench tonight. Unai Emery a little disappointed that his side failed to press home their advantage despite carving out 1 or 2 other opportunities. But the good news is that Lille need to win just to force extra time, and they haven't won on English soil for 24 years. Okay, the issue is the last time that they won on English soil was in the Intertoto Cup semi-final against Aston Villa here at Villa Park. Andy Townsend is alongside us. It's a brilliant atmosphere.
It's great, Sam. Yeah, I expected it to be lively. I think everybody at Villa Park tonight in their claret and blue know the importance of this 90 minutes we're about to witness. I think last week I didn't see a tremendous amount from Lille. I do think that Villa, if they're anything like anywhere near approaching their best, they'll have too much for the visiting team. But got to make it happen, got to get it done.
What do you make of the decision not to include Watkins from the start tonight? Give Tammy Abraham his head?
Well, I think that I can understand it. I think Ollie hasn't been at his best for a while, but the team haven't functioned for a while, really, the truth be told. So Ollie got his goal last week, which was very timely for him. However, I think Unai keeps everybody on their toes, all options open and available, and Tammy gets the nod, and Tammy's got to go and perform. He's got to go straight in. He's an experienced boy now. He's got to go in and pick it up from the start. We've seen he can be effective coming off the bench. Now he's got to be useful from the off.
Let me give you the 2 teams, starting with Aston Villa. They're in claret shirts with blue sleeves and white shorts. They're attacking the goal away to our left in the first half, the big north stand. And they will shoot towards the Holt end in the second half of the game, and that is absolutely jam-packed as always tonight. It's Martinez in goal, Bogart, Lindelof, Pau Torres and Martz in the back 4, Onana and Douglas Luiz in the middle of the park, with John McGinn, Morgan Rogers and Sancho behind Tammy Abraham in attack. And looking at the way that Lille are lining up, it is, as I expected, a back 3 tonight, with Ozer in goal, Ngoy, Alessandro Mbemba as the back 3, Perrault as the left wing back, Mounier as the right wing back, Bentaleb, Bouadi and Mukau in the middle of the park, with Carrera and Giroud up top for the visitors. It's 1-0 on aggregate to Aston Villa as we get underway. Lille defending the goal away to our left in black shirts with bright yellow trim, and the ball is immediately scurried out to the far side, carried by Jadon Sancho, who appears to be playing off the right at the very beginning of this game. Andy Townsend over on that far side.
Yeah, he is. John McGinn looks like he'll operate down the left when he has to. And Villa will kind of drop into a 4-4-2 when they don't have it.
Pinched by Abraham, picked up by McGinn, drives forward, unleashes a shot from 25 yards out, which is a bit of a skimmer across the grass. It goes wide of the left-hand upright, and it was no trouble really for goalkeeper Berik Ozer away to our left-hand side. Watch out for a fast start in this game from both teams. Aston Villa keen to put the tie to bed early on. It was something that John McGinn spoke about yesterday, and Matías Fernández Pardo of Lille was on the bench tonight, scored in the second minute of their game as they made a really fast start against Rennes at the weekend. Victor Lindelof in his space mask plays the ball square into Pau Torres. Along the back 4 they come, with Martson on the left side of the defence, just guiding it back into the edge of the Aston Villa penalty area. Across it goes to the Swede Lindelof once again. Our referee tonight, by the way, the Italian Davide Massa, the VAR, Marco Di Bello. We will I'm sure see the involvement of a VAR at some stage tonight. It seems to be the way in Europe. Here is Bentaleb picking the ball up and trying to chuck it forward, but Onana wins it back in the middle of the park. Douglas Luiz drives it forward. Giroud chases down and engages with John McGinn. The two captains clash on halfway, and the ball breaks deep into the Villa half of the field. 0-0, 2 minutes played. This is Talksport.
Yeah, reasonably bright start from Villa. That John McGinn, that skimming shot from about 25 yards out was actually well wide of the target, but I think they've started showing the intent with which I would imagine they would want to continue on the front foot, looking forward as often as they can. They do reset, they do go back to the centre halves and involve them a lot.
Sancho played in behind, trying to get there ahead of Mbemba, and does, and then goes beyond him and gets into a crossing position, stops, plays it back to the edge of the area. Martin is arriving, he pinballs inside the box, comes off John McGinn last and goes out, I think, for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. But it was a brilliant break there from Aston Villa. Rodgers feeding the ball into the channel, and Sancho actually got there ahead of the defender, which was a little bit surprised about, because he doesn't really have great acceleration, but he just anticipated that so well, took the ball in, set the ball back to the edge of the area, and it was crashed well wide in the end.
Yeah, good break that though. Nice play from Jadon Sancho. He started the game really bright. I hope he continues in that fashion.
Ball collected by Bentaleb in the middle of the park. He gets upended by Onana, and a free kick is given in favour of Lille, 15 yards inside their own half. Yeah,
last week, Sam, at home, Lille, I thought, lacked the belief and the real confidence to really have a go at Villa. Just one or two skirmishes.
Here's Giroud chesting it down. He had the best chance last week for Lille. He's in an offside position as he receives the ball, and the flag goes up.
He did. He had a good chance on his head, and you would have expected even... What is he now, Olivier Giroud?
39.
39, yeah.
The ripe old age of 39.
Ripe old age of 39,
He looks good for 39, to be fair.
Certainly does.
He did go to LA for a couple of months, though, so...
And never the quickest. So, you know, again, he's kept himself in good nick, so he can still operate at this sort of level. No credit to him for that, but it was a good opportunity that came his way last week, and he didn't make the most of it.
Well, Villa endured a weekend of disappointment, really, going down 3-1 at Manchester United. Ross Barkley scored a goal on his first Premier League start in 14 months. John McGinn returned for that game, but they went down 3-1 and they were blown away in the second half by Manchester United, really. In fairness, the goal that they did score probably should have been chalked off because of an offside against Amadou Onana. And it may not be that it's a very open encounter. We certainly weren't expecting that, although it started a little bit faster than I expected. One shot on target and one goal was all that was needed for Villa to edge past Lille in the game last week. That was their 8th win in 9 Europa League matches, which is more than any team in the competition. They've managed their way through this competition really well so far.
Yeah, no, they have. Look, there's some potential if they get through tonight. I'm expecting them to absolutely get through this tight. There's some tough ones around the corner, potentially. Roma, Bologna, either of those. We've seen Villa against Bologna here not that long ago. Then there may be Porto. So there's some tough fixtures ahead for sure.
Ball collected deep inside his own half by Pau Torres. He sends it long up to Rodgers. It's headed away by Chancellor Mbemba, but comes back through the middle of the centre circle into Rodgers, who turns it back to McGinn. McGinn now to Douglas Luiz. Douglas Luiz out towards the near side. Martin picks the ball up. Back in field it goes to Douglas Luiz again, looking to try and force the ball forward. He eventually finds McGinn, who gets it back to Pau Torres, and they will build again. We played 6 minutes on Talksport. We're live at Villa Park tonight, under the lights, the smoke from the flares and the pre-match pyrotechnics still lingering in the air.
They certainly are, yeah. No real pressure on the ball from Lille, as expected. They want to sit and keep bodies back behind the ball as often as they can.
Here is Martin travelling down the left, watched by Thomas Meunier. Infield it goes to Onana, and then square onto Lamar Bogard. Picked up on the right side by Jadon Sancho now. Can he weave his way into the boxes? Into the feet of Rodgers, who shifts it on, and then it goes back to Sancho again, and then back to the wide right position, into Rodgers, all the way back home. and Aston Villa decide that it's probably best to play safety first. They lead by a goal to nil, remember, on aggregate. They don't need to force the issue tonight. It's Lille who, at some stage in the match, are going to have to take a risk. Here is Martsen down the left-hand side. Being chased by Ngoy, and the ball goes out of play and away for a throw-in. The difference is that basically, because it's only one goal, they're quite happy to sit, be tight, not get picked off first of all, and then late in the game probably go on a couple of border raids.
Maybe. Yeah, the game is still very tight, you're right. I think that's why we've seen Villa start as sharp and as quickly as they have done, because I think they just want to set the tone. I don't think they want to even consider the fact that they do have a lead. They're just trying to play as if it's a 0-0 and they've got to go and make it happen. I think that's the right tactic.
He was really impressed with them last week, Unai Emery. He said it was a serious performance by a serious football team, and he needs another one of those tonight. Ball played out towards Pau Torres in the left fullback position at the moment. He sends it long. It's headed away by Mounier, collected in midfield by Bouhaddi, who still hasn't decided actually if he's going to play internationally for Morocco or France. Morocco have certainly called him up, but he's keeping them at arm's length at the moment. I think he's waiting for a little dangle from Didier Deschamps.
He might get the dangle from Didier. He might get it. You never know.
Ngoy to the left, or a little slip by Bentaleb, and that invited Tammy Abraham to try and jump down his throat and pinch the ball, but it's turned over by Lille and they move it up towards the halfway line. 8 gone, 0-0, 1-0 on aggregate. We'll keep you in touch with what is happening elsewhere tonight, because of course there's big news in the Europa Conference League and in the Europa League itself. They're in extra time. Midtjylland against Nottingham Forest. It's 2-2 on aggregate. Forest leading 2-1 on the night. That looks as if it might go to penalties over on Talksport 2. And in the Europa Conference League, Crystal Palace lead 2-1 with 6 minutes to go. And Ian Abrahams is there for us. We'll catch up with him in just a second. And when those penalties happen, we'll keep you up to date here on Talksport. We might even take the last couple here, with it being so dramatic and so important. We play 9 minutes. The ball away to our right-hand side, and it's thrown down the line by Martsen. Flick on by Abraham. Collected by Mbemba, and then back into Bentaleb, and then he plays it across through the centre circle, where it's collected by Alexandro, the Brazilian centre-half. Big, physical and powerful centre-half. Infield it goes to Bentaleb, the former Spurs man. Andy Brassel telling us in the build-up to the game about what he's been up to over the last few years. He was a big money signing for Schalke. He had a cardiac arrest a year ago.
Wow.
And he's come back and he's playing top-level football once again. He's been through the mill a little bit as Nabil Bentaleb. Lille settling into their game on halfway with Ngoy. Sending it wide to Mounier, who travels infield and looks up, eyes darting everywhere, and Mbemba takes over it once again. Shifted on to Alexandro. He starts to travel down the left side, gets the return from Bouhaddi, play back towards this left again, and then it's collected by Ngoy. And Aston Villa are not really ready to press them. They don't have to. They've won the ball back because of a sloppy pass from Mukau. Collected by John McGinn. And then as he tried to fight off the aggression of Mukau and Felix Carrera, he's lost the ball, and Felix Carrera is now escaping down the right-hand side. His low cross is beaten away by Pau Torres, and it goes out for the first corner of the game, and that first corner of the game is a Lille corner.
Yeah, John McGinn just getting caught on the halfway line there in possession. Just delayed the pass for a split second and then looked up and the ball was gone. And Felix running down the right side, looking to whip something in. Obviously difficult for Olivier Giroud on those fast counters to make sure he's in the box to get on the end of anything. But they win a corner, and this gives them a good opportunity to try and work Emi Martinez.
Well, they earned a 2-1 win at Rennes at the weekend on Sunday. It was a positive performance. It was the first time that they have managed to score 2 goals in 90 minutes in 2026. Cross comes into the box, headed away by Rodgers, and then volleyed goalwards by Mounier, and it's well over the top of the crossbar. I mean, that does bode well tonight, really, that Lille have scored twice in a game, just twice in 2026, and that's what they need to do to knock Aston Villa out tonight. They need a goal just to take it to extra time. If it stays like this, then Aston Villa will be through.
Yeah, I think if Villa and obviously I'm assuming that they're going to have the lion's share of it tonight. I think if they do score first, I think the Lille heads will drop pretty quickly.
Well, this game is brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football, and it's Aston Villa 0, Lille 0. The ball is on the halfway with Douglas Luiz. He looks up, plays it to his right, where it's collected by Lamar Bogard, shuffled back into the feet of Victor Lindelof, and knitted together by Onana and Douglas Luiz before going back to the Swede. Bruno Genesio, who is the Lille coach, was keen to point out that it was just half-time in the tie. He insisted there was time to make up the deficit. They just have to be thoughtful, he said, about the way they go about it. And they've already done it this season. Andy, Lille came from a goal down against Red Star in the previous round of the competition. They won 2-1 on aggregate. Actually, they managed to win after extra time 2-0 in Belgrade, which is not an easy thing to do.
That's never an easy place to go. Absolutely right.
Sancho skipping away from Romain Perrault, who was once of Southampton. The ball ricochets out of play and goes out for a throw into Aston Villa, who progressed down the right touchline. Goes back into Lindelof once again.
What you have to be careful of for Villa, with a one-goal lead, slender one, is that you keep the ball, you allow Lindelof and Pau Torres to have a lot of it. They drop it into Douglas Luiz or Onana, and then they go back, and then they go out the other side. And the guys up front are kind of not really getting involved enough. The best way to protect any lead, get it forward. Keep those forwards in the game.
Martson picking the ball up now from McGinn and going down the left side of the box. He tries to beat Meunier for pace on the outside, but Meunier is very wily, slides in, wins the ball. The veteran does brilliantly, and then gives the ball away cheaply to Rodgers inside the area. Poor from Douglas Luiz, and Felix Carrera gets back on the edge of the D and clears. That was an opportunity for Aston Villa, and they didn't make the most of it.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Good run from Martson down the left-hand side. Meunier made a good challenge, actually, and then gave the ball away right on the corner of the 18-yard box. Douglas Luiz trying to go one more to Onana to give him an opportunity to shoot, and poor pass, bobbly one, and it got cut out.
We'll get to Ian Abrahams in just a second, because it's about to be full time down at Selhurst Park. Aston Villa have the ball. They've gone back to the centre half. So, Moose, what's happening down at Selhurst Park? Have they done it?
No, it's Larnaca 1, Palace 2, but over in Cyprus, the home fans from Larnaca are chucking not cans, but cups of where you have your soft drinks in. One nearly hit the goalkeeper, one nearly hit the referee. At the moment, play's just been held up for about 3 minutes because of it. Palace lead 2-1. They've hit the post of the bar. It's 2-1 on aggregate to Palace with 2 minutes to go.
Apologies, Moose. Yes, Larnaca in Larnaca tonight, isn't it, after the game last week was at Selhurst Park. I got a little bit carried away that all the English teams are playing at home this week. That isn't the case.
I was going to say it might be a bit quiet at Selhurst tonight, to be fair.
But that wouldn't stop Moose from going, to be honest with you. If there was a free lunch and a football match going on, he would have been there.
Oh, he's there. Absolutely. First in the queue.
Aston Villa have the ball back inside their own half of the field, all the way back to their goalkeeper, Emi Martinez. It's clipped high into the air. It's over the head of Jadon Sancho. Tammy Abraham doesn't bother chasing it too hard, and it goes through to the goalkeeper, Ozer, away to our left-hand side. Villa don't need to win it. A draw is enough to ensure that they progress. Their defence should be confident of handling a Lille attack that have a 39-year-old striker as their focal point. With respect, he doesn't move the way he used to, but I reckon he's still a handful for Pau Torres and Victor Lindelof tonight. He's only scored 9 goals this season, but he has got support. Macau trying to get up and help him out. Across comes Douglas Luiz to shut that attack down from Lille. 0-0 the score on Talksport. In it goes to Amadou Onana, and then collects it. Oh, given away by Douglas Luiz, and Felix Carrera trying to get away. Bouadi is there. Giroud steps in. He gets challenged by Douglas Luiz, goes down and wants a penalty. Olivier Giroud, and he's still rolling around inside the penalty area at the Holt end, and the VAR will be consulted here. The referee, Davide Massa, is just wandering over towards Olivier Giroud, and it'll be interesting to see how much of the ball Douglas Luiz actually got.
Yeah, well, it was Douglas Luiz actually on the edge of the box, gave it away. Oh no, I mean, look, it's not a penalty. There's nothing in that. He actually almost pulled out the challenge. His foot was low enough anyway. Olivier Giroud has come from nowhere and clattered into Douglas Luiz as much as anything.
There's definitely not going to be a penalty.
No, there's nothing in that. Nothing in that at all. And he's rolled his sock down, Olivier Giroud, and I'm not seeing much on that shin either in terms of evidence to suggest a penalty either, Sam.
When you get to our age, that does hurt a little bit more than it used to, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I did say that. He's almost as old as me earlier on, and then I said, no, he's not. He's still a little bit younger. Good fella, though, Olivier Giroud.
Just thinking, how many years ago was that scorpion kind of kick?
Dear.
What would that be now?
That would probably probably longer than that, Andy. Maybe 12 years,
10,
something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Great goal, that, wasn't it?
Yeah,
great
brilliant.
Goal. Terrific goal from him.
Because that was when I was at Arsenal, and he obviously went to Chelsea after that and did a very good job. Here is Martinez playing out from the back up to Pau Torres. High up into the air it goes, looking for the run of Abraham, who combines with Sancho. Got enough on the ball in front of Perrault. Over on the right hand side, Abraham still has it. Back in field it goes. In fact, Giroud and Abraham would have been in the same Chelsea team at one stage.
Well have been. You're right. See that 50 yard pass from Pau Torres over the top towards Sancho and Tammy Abraham. Again, nothing wrong with that. A ball over the top and a big centre forward chasing after it and applying pressure and a threat to defenders is exactly what you need.
Morgan Rogers dropping deep, then sending the ball in behind, and Sancho is racing away here. He pulls it back into the air, it takes a bobble off the defender and goes behind, and it's out for a corner kick. Well, Andy, I think you thought that he might have been offside there, Jadon Sancho.
Very
the fact
close.
that the assistant didn't raise his flag meant that when it didn't go into the middle of the box and get put towards the goal, there was no flag. They get the corner anyway.
No, great run from him. No, he's onside, he's good. Chancellor Mbemba playing him onside right in the middle of that 18-yard box, gets to the byline, Jadon Sancho, but just can't provide a cross of any note really for anyone running into the box.
Over on Talksport 2, Nottingham Forest and Midtjylland have gone to penalties. Get an update for you in just a second. There's a red card at Palace. We're there after we've had this corner. The ball sent in from Douglas Luiz. It was a terrible corner that was driven along the floor. He gets a second chance to put it in, declines it, gives it to McGinn instead. He puts it into the area, headed away by Chancellor Mbemba. Cleared back by John McGinn to this near side. Martson will keep it alive. He turns and very quickly tries to fire it back to Sancho. It wasn't a great ball. So Ian Abraham's in the game in Larnaca. There's been a red card. What's happened?
Larnaca 1, Palace 2. Larnaca will finish the game with 9 men. Ianu has been sent off for a swipe with his boot at Jean-Philippe Mateta. It didn't look a horrible tackle at first. The referee overturned it on VAR. Larnaca 1, Palace 2. Larnaca with 9 men looking for an equaliser.
Penalties continue over on Talksport 2 between FC Midtjylland of Denmark and Nottingham Forest. Nico Dominguez and Ryan Yates scored the goals tonight, but Ehrlich, who has scored a number of goals in the Europa League for Midtjylland this season, he's a centre-half. He scores a lot of goals from set pieces. They score over 50% of their goals from set pieces, FC Midtjylland, in the Europa League this season. And he's on the score sheet again, which means it's 2-2 on aggregate. It's gone to penalties after extra time, and that is over on Talksport 2 right now. Get it via the Talksport app or on your smart speaker. Here it's 0-0 between Aston Villa and Lille. In fact, it's 1-0 on aggregate to Aston Villa, which means that at the moment it's all okay for Unai Emery, the Europa League specialist. Ball into the box from the left-hand side, looking for Boadi, who gets in front of the defender Martson on the edge of the 6-yard box, and he probably should have done better with that. Boadi, the youngster, stealing a march on Martson. The cross was a bit of a hopeful one, really, and they looked set, Aston Villa, to defend it, but they didn't.
He's got a score there, Boadi. So unbelievable chance. Whether he was actually picked out or whether that was just put into an area, forget about that. He's in between penalty spot and 6-yard line, right slap bang in the middle of the goal. And it's right on his forehead. It's not like it's one of those crosses where he's struggling to get it or get over it. He makes contact, heads it over the bar. That should be the lead for Lille. That's the best chance of the night so far.
Yet to score this season. He's a highly promising teenage midfielder. He was trusted enough by Bruno Genesio to come off the bench at half-time during the first match. He's been given his head here this evening in the absence of Andre, the captain, who is injured. And that was a brilliant chance to get his first goal of the season. Here's Rodgers on towards Sancho, edge of the area. Out comes the goalkeeper and gobbles it up at the feet of Jadon Sancho and prevents a certain chance.
It's unlucky. Great ball, that. Good spot from Morgan Rodgers. Right ball, right delivery. Had to put a bit on it. Jadon Sancho again had made a good run, offered himself nicely. The goalkeeper was nice and sharp there, come out towards the edge of the box and just managed to grab that before Sancho gets on it.
Palace are through in the Conference League. Here's Ian Abrahams.
Larnaca 1, Palace 2 after extra time. 2 goals from Ismaila Sarr. Finally got the job done against Larnaca, who had 2 men sent off. And a comical moment towards the end. Keeper up for a corner. Ball broke to Sarr. He ran into the Larnaca half. And with the goal gaping, he hit the post. Larnaca 1, Palace 2. Palace play Fiorentina in the next round.
Wow. That sounds like some moment.
Yeah.
But Palace are through, and that's the main thing.
That's good, yeah. Good result for Palace. And again, a competition that they should now be looking at and thinking they can go the distance.
Well, FC Midtjylland and Nottingham Forest in a penalty shootout.
If you were saying a penalty, what are you not going to? You're not one of them that would tiptoe up to the ball, are you, and just like try and eyeball the goalkeeper?
Used to take penalties actually back in the day for the Sunday League team. Always in the corner, side foot.
Correct.
Every time.
I'll take that. You can have a penalty in my turn.
No messing around.
Exactly.
I definitely wouldn't have Dango Ouattara it.
No, don't you dare. You get me the sack.
Here is Onana playing the ball forward for Aston Villa. 0-0 the score. 22.5 minutes gone. The ball infield now to Amadou Onana again. And Aston Villa know that if it stays like this, they yield a place in the quarter-finals. There's a bit of a worry because Morgan Rodgers has gone down over on the far side. England squad announced tomorrow, by the way. We'll bring that to you during our 10 till 1 show, Crookie and I, with Gabi Ekbonda, who tells me he's actually going to turn up tomorrow, which is good news. He must think that Villa are going to get through.
Morgan Rodgers
just holding the back of his glute, isn't he?
It is, yeah.
I hope that's not a hamstring, you know.
It's just, or whether it's a knee in there, Sam, not quite sure.
Let's hope it's like a...
Let's have a look.
A knee in the back, that would be much better.
It was, it's a
impact.
It's a knee in his buttock, really, and they can be sore, those, very sore.
You're listening to Aston Villa 0-0 in the Europa League, live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. It's 1-0 on aggregate, courtesy of the goals scored by Ollie Watkins in the first leg away last week. Olivier Giroud just coming over to Genesio to get a bit of a tactical bit of information. It's gone trotting back into the centre circle now. We're back underway with Rodgers moving okay, being chased by Bouadi, turning away from him and retaining possession. Referee said that there was a bit of pulling going on there and the free kick was given in Villa's favour. They move it quickly up the pitch and then Lamar Bogard is pulled to the floor and Bouadi has been doing a bit of a hatchet job. It's a... Well, I think actually maybe Felix was the one who got the final touch on that, and he's the one who's going to be given the yellow card. He did the pulling back in the end, so it's Felix Carrera who gets the yellow card. Because
Lamar Bogard was on his way, he was travelling with the ball, he travelled about 30 yards with it, was about to make a decision. Felix chasing him back, puts his hand on his shoulder, drags him to the floor. So again, Douglas Luiz probably 40 yards out on the right-hand side is going to whip something in to the edge of the 18-yard box. It's about timing the run right, getting that delivery right.
Unai Emery said winning the first match wasn't enough, reiterated the importance of this competition to his team. Getting the first goal in the game is clearly important tonight. Flick on by Lindelof at the near post. Another poor delivery by Douglas Luiz.
From there, I mean, that's an easy ball that you should be giving centre halves who have gone all that way forward a chance.
Let's move over to Talksport 2 because the penalties are reaching their climax in Denmark. Here's Talksport's Alex Crook.
This is what I'm saying. If you're going first, you put the pressure right on the opposition. And now it's a huge chance for Nico Williams to put even more pressure on them.
As we welcome listeners from Talksport, Nottingham Forest have the quarter-finals in their fingertips. Midtjylland have hit the post with both of their first 2 penalties in the shootout. Forest have scored their first 2 penalties. Here comes Nico Williams and he picks out the left corner. The goalkeeper dived the wrong way and Nottingham Forest are one successful spot kick or one more Michelin miss away from the last 8.
And that's the best penalty of the lot. Nico Williams sends Olofsson the wrong way, puts it right into the top corner. His right hand, the goalkeeper's left in the top corner. Vitor Pereira on the camera almost brought himself to smile. It's Chilafai, who's just come on, has got all the pressure on him. He misses, they're out.
Chilafai has to score, or Nottingham Forest will be European quarter-finalists for the first time in 30 long years. Chilafai will try and beat Stefan Ortega. Oh, and he slips and he balloons his penalty over the crossbar. Ortega goes to console the Michelin man, but it is the Nottingham Forest supporters who celebrate. They've made hard work of it, but Vitor Pereira's side are European quarter-finalists once again. It finished 2-2 on aggregate after Forest won 2-1 on the night, but it is Nottingham Forest who prevail 3-0 on penalties.
Alex Crook bringing you the great news that Nottingham Forest are through to the quarter-finals of the Europa League, and they will face the winners of Stuttgart and Porto. That's currently Porto 1, Stuttgart 0, with Porto leading from the first leg. It's 3-1 on aggregate to the Portuguese at the moment. So it looks like Nottingham Forest are going to play Porto in the next round of the competition. Andy Townsend, what you don't want to do if you get to a penalty shootout after 120 minutes of work and 90 minutes the previous week is to miss all 3 penalties.
Correct, yeah. No, you're not going to go through. And once we joined them, Sam, there, and we heard they missed their first couple.
Abraham onside, getting in behind, taking on Mbemba, getting into the area, right-footed shot, goalkeeper makes a save, the offside flag eventually comes up over on the far side. Bologna have taken the lead away in Rome. Wow. They lead by a 0-0. So if Aston Villa are to progress, at the moment it looks like they'll be playing Bologna in the first quarter-final.
Yep. Congratulations to Forest. Yeah, they did it the hard way, but they're through. It looks like at the moment anyway they'll be facing Porto, top of the table in Portugal, as you would expect at the moment. But Forest have been very competitive lately, I think, and they'll look forward to that one for sure.
Yeah, Forest, if they did come through that, would play Aston Villa if they come through their one in the semi-finals, of course, but that's a long way off right now. We haven't even finished the last 16. It's 0-0 here, 1-0 on aggregate to Aston Villa, who have the ball on the halfway line. They haven't had to force the issue. They've had 1 or 2 good chances, but there has been the odd offering from Lille. Bouardi had the best chance of the game, really, with a cross from the right-hand side. The ball sent in by Alexandro. He headed over the top of the bar. They come forward, Peru now, into the penalty area. Across goes Bogard, the right-back, to shut him down, and the ball deflects out over on the far side and away for a throw-in level with the edge of the penalty area. It remains 0-0.
Yeah, again, Peru there, the left full-back, has got to provide Olivier Giroud with something. You get it in the wide areas. If you're a Lille player and you've got someone of Giroud's calibre and class, particularly with his head, then give him something to attack. It hasn't got to be perfect. You just give him a chance to maybe get across the front of Lindelof or Pau Torres and make first contact with the ball. But they're firing crosses in hard and low across the floor, and it's not the sort of service Olivier Giroud's going to want nowadays.
Half an hour played then, and it's Aston Villa 0, Lille 0. Ball in the hands of Lamar Bogard, the 22-year-old Dutchman who was a standout performer in the first leg, showing a maturity beyond his years, really. Ball goes back to Pau Torres, then on to Martson, across to Douglas Luiz, who needs to come to the party a bit, I feel. Bit scrappy with his passing, and his delivery from dead balls has been poor up until this point.
I agree. I totally agree with that. Sharpen up a bit all round, Villa. Started bright, but it's gone into, again, a little bit of a pace that I think that Lille can handle. I think the one thing that most teams would fear from Premier League teams, particularly Premier League teams at the top of the table, is the tempo, the intensity, the pace with which they operate. And all the time Villa go back and reset and go square and go square. Well, then Lille don't have to do an awful lot other than just sit there and wait. They're not going to try and make the run in. They're not going to dominate possession, even though they're one down. They're going to sit there and just bank up and make life difficult and potentially wait for just one moment.
Yeah. I mean, they're a bit like that, Aston Villa, aren't they? Quite happy to sit off, not a team that play with a great deal of intensity. And I wonder if it's a game plan that's been designed because of the fact that their squad a lot smaller this year. Bentaleb in midfield, won by Douglas Luiz, who gets it back, and now Abraham to turn it over, tries to get to the edge of the area. He has the ball pinched off his toes by Alexandro, and then the ball goes up towards Lamar Bogard, who heads it down, but was accused of hitching a ride on the back of Felix, and that's going to be a free kick on the halfway line to Lille.
Yeah, the ball cleared from the edge of the Lille penalty area, high up the field. Lamar Bogard just adjudged to have fouled there.
Lille have never won on 9 previous visits to England in a major European competition. I pointed out that they did win here in the Intertoto Cup 24 years ago. They lost their last 8 in a row since they drew 0-0 against Manchester United at Old Trafford in the 2005-2006 Champions League group stage. So coming across the channel has not been a positive experience for them. It's pretty easy to come from Lille, by the way. Just get the Eurostar from Lille straight the way into King's Cross. Just walk a couple of steps up to Euston, and then you can get to Birmingham New Street in an hour. And a bit, depending on the delays.
They've brought a good few fans, Sam, haven't they? They're on the far side opposite us. You know, there's a healthy splattering of red and white in the stadium.
Here is Ngoy trying to approach the halfway line. A cross-field ball by him is high and out to the far side. The Villa right as they look at it. The fullback Bogard deals with it well, heads it into the path of Onana, and Aston Villa have possession over on the far side once again. 34 gone. Here is Martson close to the touchline, trying to feed it down the line, blocked by Mounier. It goes back to Pau Torres, who shuffles it to Emi Martinez. No one can afford to make any mistakes tonight in that Villa back line. That's a key thing that they mustn't do. Douglas Luiz trying to get the better of Bentaleb, who comes away with the ball, holds onto it well, looks up, slides it forward, looks to try and release Mukau. Won by Pau Torres, then sent forward by Douglas Luiz. Rogers, Abraham, back to Rogers again. Rogers sends it wide, edge of the area is Sancho, drives a shot goalwards, blocked by Alexandro, and it goes out of play and away for a throw-in. Level with the edge of the Lille penalty area, 0-0.
Yep, that's good play, Morgan Rogers. That's when he elevates the team, I think, when he gets on the half turn and he drives into space, plays a little give and go with Tammy Abraham, then knocks it out to the right side for Jadon Sancho, 1v1 with Alexandro, and the defender actually makes a really good block on the shot there. But I'd like to see a little more of that from Morgan Rogers. Been on the edges, the fringes of it so far for the opening 35 minutes, but that was a lot better.
10 minutes ago before the break, the ball still with Aston Villa, who've had the lion's share of possession in the match so far, but the best opportunity has gone the way of the away side, and it remains goalless. Porto 1, Stuttgart 0, and the winners of that tie will play against Nottingham Forest. And Roma have equalised in the Stadio Olimpico. It's 1-1 between Roma and Bologna, and of course Roma are a team that Tammy Abraham know well. In fact, there's quite a few players that have gone between Villa and Roma in the last little while. Abraham obviously has played there. Bailey has played there recently. He's correct on the bench tonight. And of course, Donyell Marlon.
Yes, who's there now, yep. Who wasn't here for that long. Was playing often, playing wide. Played down the middle a few times, looked quite dangerous, but yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. I think a couple of the Aston Villa observers I was talking to earlier were still a little bit perplexed about that sale in the January transfer window. It's not as if they're blessed with a lot of firepower and they've had to go out and buy Tammy Abraham.
Yeah.
Here is the goalkeeper, Berek Uzer. He sends it long, headed down and away by Bogard, collected by Onana, who's fouled from behind, and Mukau gives away the free kick on the edge of the centre circle. It remains goalless on Talksport with 9 minutes to go before the break. 59% possession for Aston Villa. 3 shots, none of them so far on target. In fact, we haven't had a shot on target in the game yet.
Yeah, I think in that respect it's been a little tame, but it's been controlled. As you say, the boss in possession. The best chance definitely fell to Lille with the header that really should have ended up in the back of the net, I think. But at the top of the field, Villa again just can't provide that final ball, that cross into the box to really create the perfect opportunity for anyone so far.
Well, you're listening to Aston Villa 0, Lille 0 on Talksport in the Europa League Live with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it, book now at enterprise.co.uk. Ball sent crossfield out towards the right, and Mounier. Macau tries to get on the end of it, missed the flight of the ball. It went all the way through to Pau Torres, and then Ian Martson is hacked down by Thomas Mounier. Might be a little bit fortunate to get away with a yellow card there, the veteran Belgian.
What's he now, Sam? Thomas Mounier.
Thomas Mounier is at the grand old age of 34.
He's 34, right.
Former PSG and Borussia Dortmund fullback.
Good moves, and he's been at some top clubs, hasn't he? Yep.
There's a little bit of extra experience in the team as well, and that's a good touch around the corner by Rodgers in towards Sancho. Peru tries to shut him down, did just enough. The ball was cleared out to the right-hand side. Rodgers keeps it alive with a cross, which is gobbled up by the goalkeeper at the near post when Abraham was advancing into the penalty area. There's a moment there where I thought maybe Alexandro had given that up, and it looked as if Rodgers was going to get hold of it, or the ball was going to go out for a corner, but Rodgers kept it in with a cross into the box, which was a little bit too close to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think that little ball round the corner for Jadon Sancho initially was a very good one. Just one observation with regards to Sancho: when he's one-on-one, he tends to want to check back all the time, chopping back inside on his left foot. I think part of the reason why he's out there on that right side tonight as well is when he gets the chance, he wants to, or he should want to go down the outside, take people on, try and get beyond your defender and stand something up in the box for Abraham, or flash something across the 6-yard area. But don't keep chopping back inside, because as soon as you do that, defenders can step out and others will get around the ball and give you a problem. I just think when he's 1v1, have the belief, the confidence to take people on.
One by Ngoy, high up the pitch for Lille on the right-hand side. They feed it out towards the right wing position where Mukau is waiting for it. Mounier takes over and slides it back across the back line. It goes all the way into the middle. If you've just joined us, well, over on Talksport 2 earlier tonight, Nottingham Forest beat Midtjylland on penalties. 2-2 on aggregate, 3-0 on penalties, because Midtjylland missed all 3 of their spot kicks. Crystal Palace also through tonight. They won 2-1 in Larnaca as the ball goes into the centre, aimed in towards Felix Carrera. It's the ball from the left-hand side from Romain Perrault, which bounces in the box. It's gobbled up by Emi Martinez. Yeah,
it's actually a clever ball from Bentaleb over the top of Jadon Sancho, who was tracking the run of Perrault, but allowed him a yard of space, which he put a decent ball in the box.
Douglas Luiz again giving the ball away, and Mounier careers up to the edge of the area, tries to feed it into Perrault, and it was a poor ball by him. And now a chance to break for Aston Villa, and Rodgers has got the ball at his feet. He sent Tammy Abraham away. Goalkeeper's come out, got there ahead of Tammy Abraham and slid the ball out for a throw-in over on the far side.
It's unlucky. Great run that from Tammy. Really strong run from an inside left position to a central berth. Morgan Rodgers spotted it and immediately played him in. Oh, it's a real tight call whether or not he would have been on or off there.
He bent it really well, didn't he?
He did.
Here is Martson, back to Douglas Luiz, 20 yards from goal, encouraged to shoot, goes square instead, picked up by Bogart. Out wide it now goes to Jadon Sancho again, holds the ball, wants to come infield, tries to balance and push the ball into the path of Rodgers, but lost the ball very quickly, and then Bouhaddi gets it away to the left-hand side where Romain Perrault will manage to get it clear. He won't, because it'll be pinched by Abraham, who plays it against the defender's legs. It goes out and away for a corner, and Abraham wants a little bit more from the crowd as we get into the final 5 minutes before half-time.
Yeah, that's good work there. Romain Perrault, the left-back for Lille. He's got plenty of time on the ball, looking forward, and as so many defenders do nowadays, decides to look up and then go back to a centre half, puts his mate in trouble, and they end up conceding a corner.
Aston Villa to take a corner from the far side. They've won only 3 of their past 12 league matches, Aston Villa, but they usually thrive in Europe. In towards the near post, Onana, and then Sancho has missed the rebound as he tried to backheel the ball into the net. It's cleared off the line.
Right, it's a great ball in. Great delivery that. And it is Onana climbs majestically. It's a wonderful stop from Jose, the goalkeeper. And it came from the front post. Goalkeeper dives to his right, tips it to the far post. Sancho's there, kind of puts his almost like a back heel on it. If he gets it on target, it goes in.
I think there was a bit of an interruption because Felix Carrera was coming back and putting him under pressure. I didn't think corner initially, but that's what's been given. And Douglas Luiz delivers one this time in towards the centre of the 6-yard box. It's grabbed by goalkeeper Beric Ozer, and it's cleared away.
Good hands that, yep, from the goalkeeper. Very important for Lille. 2 or 3 minutes before half-time to make sure they resist and defend those corners and wide free kicks as well as they can. Villa fits and starts tonight so far. When they've raised the tempo a little bit, you feel that they could threaten, you feel they look dangerous, and then they drop off the pace a bit and just sort of manage the lead that they have in the tie. Well,
Bouadi has had a big chance for Lille, and that should be a warning to Aston Villa, who do have Ollie Watkins on the bench. In fact, he's warming up in front of us now. So is Harvey Elliott. I mean, I don't know why he's warming up, because they're never going to use him, are they? Here the ball is played out on the right-hand side. It's collected by Sancho. Tries to get the cross in. It's blocked by Alexandro, and it goes out for a throw.
Well, that's better from Sancho. Receiving the ball wide right, driving towards the dead ball line to try and cross something. Alexandro, the defender, though, makes the block. I would be reiterating that to Jadon Sancho at half-time. Your job out there as a wide man is to provide something for those that are arriving in the box, and then get on that back post when the crosses are coming in off the other side.
Lamar Bogard just lost his footing before he took the throw. He was allowed to take it again. Rogers has it, pokes it back to Onana, who's on the right angle of the penalty area. Douglas Luiz now, then cross field towards Pau Torres. McGinn now on this left-hand side, trying to get Aston Villa on the front foot. It's forward by Pau Torres, but it's snaffled up by the defender. And then Mbemba and Ngoy get the ball back to the goalkeeper, who immediately just rifles it downfield, looking for Giroud to fight with Torres for the ball. Pau Torres eventually gets something before Carrera can walk away with it, and it's back to the heart of the defence, and Aston Villa have possession with Lindelof and then Onana, and then Giroud a little bit late on Onana, caught him on the back of the Achilles. It's going to be a free kick just short of the centre circle. 0-0.
Yeah, I don't think he intended to do that, Olivier Giroud there. I think inadvertently caught Onana, but he certainly did catch him. Immediately rushed over to apologise, and it looks like he's got away with any sort of yellow card or any ticking off from the referee.
Just reaffixed his boot as Amadou Onana, 24 years of age now, towering Belgian, proper enforcer at his very best. He needs to produce a rock-solid display tonight alongside Douglas Luiz.
I think the midfielder they miss more than any of them, Villa, is Yuri Tielemans. I really do. Someone who can provide an inch-perfect pass, can go and get the ball deep off the central defenders, nicks a goal here and there, makes a good run into the box occasionally. He's just got a really strong all-round game, I think.
The statistics tell you that it's Boubacar Kamara's absence which is the most keenly felt with the Frenchman in the team.
There are lots of fans that say that, Sam, too, yeah.
I think they average something like 2.33 points per game, and it drops off considerably when he's not in the team. Whatever happens, he's a terrific acquisition on a free transfer a couple of years ago. But I think those two in midfield and John McGinn, who were missing for such a long time, was sort of like the catalyst for the slump.
Yes.
I think McGinn coming back, obviously you've got to get over these humps and when you've got a lot of games coming up, but certainly they felt their absences. Here is Martson down the left-hand side. Good touch in a high area, attacking the goal away to our left. Mounier puts it out. There's 1 minute of added time at the end of the first half. The ball runs into the path of Martson, who played nearly 40 seconds of that, by the way. And the throw-in goes out on this near side for Sancho to take. Douglas Luiz got to get it in the box quickly here because they're running out of time. Sancho trying to skate to the edge of the area. Declined to give it back to Luiz initially. Feeds it into Pau Torres instead. He shifts it on to the right. Lamar Bogard, Rogers, back to Bogard again. Again, they've got to get it into the box before the time runs out. Rogers produces a cross. It's a deep one. It's headed away by Mounier, and it will go out for a throw, but they won't get to take it because they took too long to get it in, and that is the half-time whistle. Well, 3 of Villa's last 4 matches were goalless at half-time, and Lille were always likely to take a cautious approach in the first part of the second leg, and that is how it has panned out. At the break, it's goalless, but there have been chances. Bouhaddi had one for Lille, and Aston Villa had one through Onana, which was well saved by goalkeeper Berka Uzer, and then Jadon Sancho couldn't put in the rebound. At the break, it's Aston Villa 0, Lille 0. Aston Villa lead 1-0 on aggregate.
Sam, thank you very much. Let's look over that first half then with Andy Townsend, who is a part of our commentary team. And yes, 0-0 it is at the break, Andy, and really it's been a game of very few chances. Yeah, there hasn't been a tremendous amount of goalmouth action either end. Nat, Villa largely controlling things in terms of possession. Every now and again, when they get Morgan Rogers on the half turn, sort of 40 odd yards from goal, you feel something might happen. Jadon Sancho's looked quite sharp. Again, I just think he's capable of providing a little bit more off that right-hand side. But at the top of the field again, and it's been a little bit of an issue for Villa for a while, those chances just aren't coming along as frequently as you'd like. So you keep going, you just make sure that defensively you're sound. Those 2 central midfielders have had a lot of the ball. They've got to make sure they don't vacate that area and allow Lille any sort of opportunity or feeling that they can go and pinch something. Yeah, what's been notable, I think, as well, is that before the game kicked off, we talked about the atmosphere. It doesn't feel as though it's as loud as it was, shall we say, at the start. Lille have been able to silence the Villa crowd. Yeah, I think whether that's... You're right, it's certainly right now. It was the volume was turned right up as we got going. And because we're still at 0-0, it's a fraction more subdued, but I think second half now Villa will be going towards the Holt end, which is always notorious in that respect, where they will urge the team on, they will demand a little bit more forward play from them, always do when you're going towards the Holt. So expect a bit more in that respect. Lille had a very good chance, the best chance I think of everything so far really, with Ayoub Bouhaddi. It was a terrific opportunity for him. It was a really poor header. So up to now it's been pretty routine, but there's always, when you're one up, Nat, you are, I don't care who you're playing against, you are never safe. You've got to make sure. Villa need another one. Yeah, what about Tammy Abraham then in this first 45 minutes? I mean, he's yet to have a touch in the Lille box. Yeah, he's worked hard, charged around either side, offering himself in the gullies. I think he's made 1 or 2 really sharp runs where the final ball into him hasn't quite been there. Again, in terms of any sort of delivery that he can throw himself at with his head or something of that nature, that hasn't really happened tonight so far. But again, when the ball's come into him, he's protected it well, he's dropped it off nicely. I think he'd just like to see the ball in the box a little bit more. And Ollie Watkins, as I mentioned to you at the start of the show now, Ollie has felt the kind of same situation in that respect, where he probably feels he doesn't get quite enough delivery to keep him involved and keep him hungry and keep him expecting that something might be there for him. If you starve your strikers of delivery, and if you don't put it in there enough, they just won't get in there and get after it quickly. Yeah, absolutely. Andy, for now, thank you very much. Of course, it's a 45 minutes for Aston Villa to get through, which would seal their spot in the quarterfinals, having been 1-0 up from the first leg. The second half commentary to come. Don't forget, we've got more live football for you tomorrow night as well, as third place Manchester United continue their quest for Champions League qualification. They're heading to Bournemouth, looking to go 6 points clear of fourth. Bournemouth against Manchester United is live on Talksport from 7 p.m. Kickoff is at 8. You're tuning into the Europa League live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it, book now at enterprise.co.uk. Coming up, we'll look back at FC Midtjylland and Nottingham Forest in the earlier Europa League kickoff.
Kick-off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. 18+ gambleaware.org.
Gentlemen, start your engines and get ready to win, because TalkSport are offering you the chance to win a VIP hospitality trip for two to the British Grand Prix on Sunday the 5th of July. Enter now at talksport.com/win and you could be watching all the action from grandstand seats, including exclusive access to the circuit's inner track and much more. Enter now at talksport.com/win for the chance to experience the electrifying atmosphere of the British Grand Prix, courtesy of TalkSport.
Shame we got to bring the grown-ups, but at least we can get up to £10 off our tickets with the Sun Super Days. Just pick up the Sun newspaper this Saturday to collect your codes or join Sun Club to book. T's and C's apply.
Evening. How's your night shift going? Just a quick check-in from Acorn Insurance, the taxi specialists. We've been by your side for over 40 years, helping new drivers earn a no-claims bonus from day one and accepting up to 9 years no claims from veteran cabbies. That's why we're the largest taxi insurance specialist in the UK. Find out more at acorninsure.co.uk/taxi. Bye for now. Acorn Insurance and Financial Services Limited is authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.
Trojan knows that to be the best, you need to feel your best. So right now, get up to 50% off new performance workwear. We've drilled down the price on comfort fit jackets, hoodies and body warmers. We've cut the cost of breathable tees, durable joggers, stretch holster trousers and shorts. And we've made slip-resistant safety boots a shoe-in for value.
Enough of the gags, mate.
All right. If you want to level up your game in style with quality gear for less, head to your Arco store or visit arco.co.uk. Trojan, engineered to perform. Offer on selected lines.
I'm Professor Huggington, and I like to...
When your kid's favourite toy starts to run out of battery power, no need to worry. Your new batteries are already on their way, arriving today with Amazon Prime. Everyday essentials delivered fast. It's on Prime.
I'm Professor Huggington, and I like to hug.
Cut-off times and T's and C's apply. See product page when ordering.
On average, Rift Tax refunds get their customers $3,000 back. Search Rift Tax refunds today.
What makes a good bet? At Virgin Bet, we think it's a simple bet, a responsible bet, a last-minute winner when you're down to 10 men kind of bet, with generous offers. A bet that puts sport first. Sound like your kind of bet? Then you're ready to get started. Sign up and new members get £30 in free sports bets when you bet £10. Virgin Bet. A good bet. £10 sports bet settled in first 14 days. 1.5 minimum odds. Free bets valid 7 days. T's and C's and deposit exclusions apply. Bet responsibly. 18+. Gambleaware.org.
Talksport Breakfast in partnership with Arnold Clark. We guarantee the best used car deals in the UK. Move up through the gears every morning with top of the range sports edition, ABS, story breaking news, and more gold talk to the gallon. Plus a stellar lineup of super celebrity sports guests as standard. Talksport Breakfast every weekday morning from 6 on Talksport with Arnold Clark. We guarantee the best used car deals in the UK.
Europa League live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Established and excellent evening star of football.
Kick-off live on Talksport.
You're listening to Kick-Off on TalkSport, where it's currently Aston Villa 0, Lille 0 in our commentary game tonight in the Europa League. Remember, Villa just need a draw after winning the first leg 1-0 in France, courtesy of a Ollie Watkins goal. So we'll bring you second half commentary shortly, and we'll also, of course, run you through what happened in all of the earlier matches as well, with Nottingham Forest going through on a penalty shootout, Crystal Palace also going through in the Conference League. That, though, to come. Right now, let's bring you a halftime odds update with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Bet on this season's Champions League action live tonight. Visit ladbrokes.com. 18+ gambleaware.org.
Well, Aston Villa very much the favourites to win this competition, and no surprise, they are odds-on favourites to win at Villa Park this evening. 5 to 6 on you can get on them. If you think Lille can win this one in the 90 minutes, 7-2 is the best price that Ladbrokes are offering, and the draw, which it currently is at 6-4. That was the latest odds with Ladbrokes. It's 18 and over. BigGambleAware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Bet on this season's Champions League action live tonight. Visit ladbrokes.com. 18+ gambleaware.org.
Okay, as I mentioned earlier this evening, Nottingham Forest made it through eventually against FC Midtjylland in Denmark, meaning they have sealed a place in the last 8 of the Europa League. After winning 2-1 on the night, it meant it was 2-2 on aggregate. That led to a penalty shootout after extra time. Forest scored all of 3 of theirs, whilst the Danes missed all 3 of their spot kicks as well. Here is that winning moment on Talksport 2 with the former Crystal Palace midfielder Darren Ambrose and Alex Crook, and here's how it sounded.
Chilafaya has to score, or Nottingham Forest will be European quarter-finalists for the first time in 30 long years. Chilafaya will try and beat Stefan Ortega. Oh, and he slips and he balloons his penalty over the crossbar. Ortega goes to console the Midtjylland man, but it is the Nottingham Forest supporters who celebrate. They've made hard work of it, but Vitor Pereira's side are European quarter-finalists once again. It finished 2-2 on aggregate after Forest won 2-1 on the night, but it is Nottingham Forest who prevail 3-0 on penalties.
Let's have a quick word with Andy Townsend, and of course who is at Villa Park. But I tell you what, Andy, 2-0 up, it was all looking really, really good for Nottingham Forest, and somehow they allowed FC Midtjylland back into the game, and then it became a very nervy encounter before we hit those penalties. But it's Forest that are through, and they're making a good fight of it in their first trip into Europe for decades.
Yes, no, I think since Vitor Pereira's been there, I think we've seen a very competitive Forest. I mean, look, 2 down at Manchester City is not easy to come back and get something out of a game like that, which they did. I think they've been through the ringer tonight by the sounds of it now, in the box seat at 2-0, conceding a goal, then all of a sudden, you're going to extra time, then penalties, but they held their nerve, and I tell you, that really will stand them in good stead for the rest of the competition to go through a penalty shootout as confidently and as well as they did. Will do them the power of good. So congratulations to them. Never easy to go away from home in Europe, but they've gone there, they've done it the hard way, and now they're in the last 8. Good luck to them.
And interestingly, of course, Vitor Pereira made 9 changes to the lineup that drew with Fulham last weekend, and many were saying, well, that's a signal of the Tottenham game on Sunday is clearly more important, but that second 11, if you like, really came through in the end. I know obviously there were substitutes and some of those first 11 players did come on, but emotionally it could be a little bit draining, do you think, ahead of that trip to Tottenham? Yeah,
it could. I mean, because there's going to be a lot of changes, obviously, for the Spurs game, and I ordinarily, of course, when you're playing in a European tie, you want to put your strongest boys out, but I fully understand that he had to rotate and shuffle a little bit this evening. But you know what? They've got it done by hook or by crook. They've come through it, come out the other side of it, and they'll now bounce into the Spurs game. If they'd have been on the wrong end of an extra time and a penalty shootout, or they'd gone out in the 90 minutes, it might have been a very different vibe and feel going into that Spurs game. But they're going to jump into that one now. Tottenham have definitely seemingly have found a little bit from somewhere over the last few games. So that's a really interesting game of the weekend. That's a really good fixture.
Yeah, Sunday will be fascinating, especially we've got the League Cup final coming up as well, live on Talksport. And if you want to know who Forest will play in the quarter-finals, well, currently it is FC Porto, a team they faced in the league phase. They won that one 2-0 at home, but of course this will be a 2-legged encounter, so a very different approach perhaps to that game. But we'll bring you all the details of that as and when we know who Porto will play, but they are currently leading 3-1 on aggregate against Stuttgart. Elsewhere then in the Europa League, the full-time scores from the earlier kick-off. Freiburg, terrific second leg for them. They beat Genk 5-1 on the night, which means they won the tie 5-2 on aggregate. And Celta Vigo, well, they had a 2-0 win at Lyon earlier, which meant they went through 3-1 on aggregate, which is some victory as well to pull off in France. And let's not forget that last night Braga made it through to the last 8 after they beat Robbie Keane's Ferencváros 4-0. 4-2 on aggregate was the final score from that one. At half-time in the Europa League, as I've mentioned, Porto 1-0 up against Stuttgart. Real Betis lead Panathinaikos 2-0. That's 2-1 on aggregate that they are ahead. And in the game that the winner of this tie at Villa Park will play. It is at the break Roma 2, Roma 1, Bologna 2, which means Bologna are the team currently in that pole position to go through to the last 8. 3-2. They are ahead on aggregate. If you are just tuning in, don't forget Crystal Palace made it through to the quarter-finals of the Conference League after they beat Larnaca after extra time 2-1 in the second leg after a goalless first leg. And it means they will play Fiorentina, who beat the Polish side Raków 4-2 on aggregate. Let's hand you back over to our commentary team at Villa Park, where it is goalless, of course, and you will be able to have your say on the sports bar a little bit later on tonight, so don't forget to get your calls into them. It is the former Villa captain Andy Townsend who is alongside Sam Matterface.
Is Jamie O'Hara going to promise not to call anyone a nugget tonight?
Can't guarantee anything of the sort, I'm afraid.
Okay, just checking.
Who did he call that?
A Tottenham fan last night, who, to be fair, the Tottenham fan did say, if we play like we did last night, next year we can win the title.
Okay, I don't think Jamie's far off the mark there.
Find out what's going to happen in the latest instalment of the Sports Bar tonight from 10 o'clock at 037172233 44, by which time we hope to have had all three of the Thursday night English teams through to the next round of the competition. But Aston Villa are going to have to sharpen up in front of goal if they're going to do that, Andy.
Yeah, they are, yeah. I think going towards the whole end, Sam, I think, just said to Natalie, I think naturally there's usually a little bit more intensity about what they do, and perhaps that will urge the players to just play forward, I think, a little quicker. They don't always need to go back to the centre halves and back to the goalie. They do that a lot, yeah, and that gives the guys up front a little bit of a breather, but also we want to see a little bit more up and at them and getting those forward players involved.
Well, the second halves are usually more entertaining than the first with these two. I mentioned at half-time that 3 of the last 4 Aston Villa games had been goalless at the break. In Lille's 26 Ligue 1 matches so far this season, they've produced only 22 first-half goals. Here's Mounier into the box, looking for Giroud, who stoops and heads the ball against the defender, and it goes wide and out for a corner away to our left-hand side. Well, Victor Lindelof was well positioned there, but that was a really good ball in from Thomas Mounier on the right-hand side. He flipped the ball into the box, and in between the two centre-halves, somehow he sort of stooped in between them.
Does he miss it? Watch. He kind of just gets ahead of the ball and then trying to arc his head in a position to try and make contact. Doesn't do it. It's Lindelof goes out for a corner.
Here's the corner to be taken over on the far side, and left back Romain Perraud is going to take it. There's a bit of pushing inside the penalty area, and Goy has been sent to the floor by John McGinn. McGinn's pleading his innocence, but the referee just giving him a warning anyway. No changes at half-time. Aston Villa towards the Holt end in this second half in dark navy blue and black with thick yellow trim. Lille attacking the goal away to our left, and the corner coming in now from Perraud towards the far post. Alexandro gets underneath it and heads it over the top of the crossbar.
Yeah, loopy corner, wasn't it? Big towards the far post, and when it's high like that, it gives defenders a chance to get that little close-up. Morgan Rogers just did enough to disturb Alexandro, but that was a good ball in from Mounier off the right-hand side just before that corner. And Giroud had just got in between the two centre-halves and couldn't get his head on it and make proper contact.
0-0 the score. 2 good chances then for Lille in the game. That should be a warning to Aston Villa and to Unai Emery, who's just in conversation with one of his coaches away to our right-hand side in the technical area. And the ball goes wide to the left, and Aston Villa with Martson send it forward up towards Jadon Sancho. It comes straight back into midfield. Douglas Luiz loses out. The ball runs through to Buardi, and he, with a strapping on his right knee and his big long hair flapping behind him in the wind, plays it out to the left, and Perraud moves up to the edge of the area. And now Felix, the wiry centre forward who's playing off Giroud tonight, plays it back into midfield. Buardi gets a little bit of luck before sending it through the 6-yard box, and actually if Giroud was in there, that would have been a real problem for Aston Villa.
Yeah.
He got a little bit fortunate because he tried to spin the ball around the corner and it actually went the other way.
Well, the opening 3 or 4 minutes of this second period has been all Lille. They've actually come out really looking quite sharp.
Good ball over the top by Tammy Abrahams, looking for the run of John McGinn. It's cleared away by Mbemba. Up into midfield, and Bentaleb has got it once again. Well, you were always expecting the visitors to take some risks at some point, given the fact that they suffered that first leg defeat. They have tested the patience of the supporters in League, and 6 of their last 9 victories in all competitions have been 1-0. 1-0 takes us to extra time tonight. Here is Ngoy out to the far side of Mounier, then in to Macau once again. Alexandro plays it wide to the left now, and Lille trying to forge an attack down the Villa right. Bogard shuffles across and makes sure that there's no option to play the ball into a dangerous area, and then Felix tries to get beyond Douglas Luiz, who does enough to hand him off, and then a poor ball out of defence by Pau Torres straight to Bentaleb, and it's turned over very cheaply by Aston Villa, who have again not started particularly well in this second half.
Whenever they've had the ball, they give it away invariably, and the game predominantly played in Villa's half of the field so far.
Here is Felix looking to try and play the ball in behind. It came through to Bouadi, and it was just about clipped away by Onana. Abraham picks it up, tries to head it on into the path of Rodgers, and then Bentaleb wrestles back control. And the whole end trying to raise the volume level away to our right-hand side, just trying desperately to get Aston Villa to revive themselves a little bit. They've got Martinez in goal, back 4 of Bogard, Lindelof, Pau Torres and Ian Martson, Onana and Douglas Luiz, John McGinn, Rodgers and Sancho behind Tammy Abraham in attack. Lille with Berka Ozer in goal, Ngoy, Alexandro and Chancellor Mbemba the back 3. In midfield, Mounier, Bentaleb, Bouadi and Barou, with Mukau and Felix Carrera trying to get up and support Olivier Giroud. Free kick given over on the far side. Giroud accused of an elbow by Douglas Luiz. Referee has given the free kick. Aston Villa have got things moving, and Unai Emery is trying to encourage some level of response.
Yeah, a little bit of frustration there from Douglas Luiz, who's given the ball away an awful lot tonight. He did it in the first half, in the first 20 minutes, 3 or 4 times. Did it again there. To his credit, went after it and won it back. But Villa need to just, I think, just affect the game a little more. Just happy to sit and bank up and asking Lille, what have you got? Well, up to now it's not been a lot, but they've had 1 or 2 moments.
Aston Villa's only previous time hosting Lille in a major European competition, I've mentioned the Intertoto game a few times now, was in the Conference League when they won 2-1 in the first leg of the quarter-final here. They lost 2-1 in the second leg and then went out on penalties. Oh my word, Jadon Sancho has just run the ball out of play when he had a load of green grass to run into. He picked it up just short of the halfway line. There was a chance to counter-attack. I thought he was going to go on and really make a dart into the Lille end of the field, but he ended up just kicking it out of play.
Yep, there was nobody in front of Jadon there at all.
It's been a bit of a frustrating spell, and he's been linked with a move back to Borussia Dortmund again at the end of the season.
And he's been linked. That's all he spent his life being linked here, being linked there, going here, going there. I keep saying there's a talented boy there. That's not even up for debate, but no one tends to see it enough. And that's what he's got to demand more from himself. I keep saying it. He's the only one that can provide it.
Well, he's getting on a bit now, isn't he? I mean, he's 25. He'll be 26 in the summer. They've given away a free kick. Douglas Luiz again, just a little bit loose. He's been poor tonight. Looks like Ollie Watkins is getting readied for Aston Villa. They need that.
I tell you what, the crowd need it. They need a change, and they need to feel that there's a little more urgency now about what Villa are trying to do. So far, since the start of the second half, they've been sloppy, they've been casual, and they're inviting Lille to come and have a little bit of a go. Free kick here, 25 yards out.
0-0 the score on the night. 1-0 to Aston Villa. If it stays like this, no problem. The problem is the nerves that are attached with it staying like this. Felix to take the free kick. It's left of centre, and it is a good 27 yards from goal. Bentaleb takes it instead, actually, and comes round the wall and fires it into the bottom corner, and Emi Martinez got down smartly to stop it. It was brilliant. Quickly dispatched brilliantly up towards Sancho, who's into the penalty area. Better take this time. He chops in, sets it back for McGinn. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Emi Martinez runs out to the halfway line to celebrate. Everyone runs back to him. John McGinn is the goal scorer. It was created by Sancho, but it was instigated by Emi Martinez. Quick release, perfect pinpoint pass down the pitch. Super from Sancho, took it out of the sky, shot back in on his left foot, set it up on a plate for McGinn. 1-0 Villa on the break, and the destiny now is in their own hands.
Well, at last we've seen Villa just wake up and snap out of the bit of a lull that they've been in since the start of the second half. Good free kick from Bentaleb, very well saved from Emi Martinez. He walks the ball to the edge of the box and he pings it to Jadon Sancho on a sixpence, who steps inside with a really clever bit of skill and just rolls it across, about level with the penalty spot, rolls it across the box to John McGinn, who's done great to make the ground up, and he has a lovely cool slot as the goalkeeper dives to his right hand side. McGinn puts it in the other corner, and Villa are back in front, and I think with a little bit more purpose about them now.
Tammy Abraham coming off, and Watkins coming off the bench to enter the fray with 35 minutes to go, and a change that has been made. And to be honest with you, it's been made with the idea of getting a goal, but he's decided, despite the fact they've scored it, to maintain it. And Tammy Abraham gets serenaded by the Villa fans. They love him.
Yeah, he did okay, Tammy. First half, I thought he was always available and tried to make a bit of a nuisance of himself. But that's a great goal. Brilliant play.
Such a good goal.
Wasn't it a good goal, Sam? Fantastic work from the goalie. I mean, to make a great save and then jump straight up, and then who can I give it to? Where can I go? Sancho, to his credit, makes a great run down the right side, and Emi Martinez pings it out of his hands on a plate, on a absolute sixpence. Sancho, nice bit of clever skill to set it up for McGinn. 1-0, 2-0 on aggregate, and that surely, I think, should be enough.
Surely.
Yeah.
Only twice in 2026 have they scored 2 goals in 90 minutes, Lille. Surely they're not going to score 2 in the remaining 33 that we have here tonight. Surely. Let's hope not. Let's hope there's another Aston Villa goal, because that will mean we put all 3 teams on a Thursday night through in the Europa League and the Conference League. And won by Peru inside his own half after Villa threatened to get the ball up towards Watkins, who's replaced Abraham. The game brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. Here is Bentaleb across to Alexandro, and then Peru, who looks up. Earlier on tonight, Nottingham Forest won on penalties on Talksport 2, and Crystal Palace won in extra time in Larnaca to go through in the Conference League. It's Fiorentina next for Crystal Palace. I mean, crikey, that's the toughest Conference League draw I've heard for a while, by the way, Fiorentina.
Yeah.
That was the one that West Ham had in the final. And I think Villa ended up playing them in the Conference League as well, if I'm not mistaken. Here is Onana into the centre, looking up, trying to find a quick release. Porto for Nottingham Forest, and then maybe Bologna for Aston Villa. Still that game between them and Roma is ongoing as Rodgers gets it back from Watkins. The ball runs loose in midfield. McGinn dives in with a really powerful tackle. Referee says play on. Felix gets back to his feet. It was a coming together in the middle of the park. It was fiercely contested by the Scotsman, and now the ball is on the right with Rodgers trying to wriggle into a crossing position. It's put out by Alexandro, and it goes out for a throwing down by the corner flag. There's a bit more impetus about Aston Villa now.
Correct. And I'd like to think in this position now they will go on and show their class and get this game properly won in a manner which will really boost them a little bit. There's been a lot of results, a lot of games here at Villa Park recently that have gone the wrong way. And I think this, I mentioned at the start of the night, I think the game always represented an opportunity for Villa to find another gear and get a bit more confidence back playing in front of their own.
McGinn to take the free kick away to our right, in towards the centre of the 6-yard box. Is caught brilliantly by goalkeeper Berka Özer, and he immediately dispatches upfield towards Mounier. Mounier gallops to the halfway line. He has Macau in front of him. Instead he goes square into Bentaleb. He then plays it backwards to Alexandro, and there's a French commentator in front of me. Very French reaction to that backward pass, by the way. Threw his arms up into the air and wasn't too happy with Nabil Bentaleb. Peru, near side, chased by Bogart. Goes back into the halfway line where it's collected by Alexandro and then sent out wide towards the far side. Unai Emery will be pretty pleased to be back here at Villa Park, where they've won all 4 of their previous Europa League home games this term. But it could be another one here. Especially bearing in mind they've won only one of the last 5 home fixtures in all competitions, Andy. It will be a timely boost, as you were saying, ahead of their weekend offering. They are playing West Ham on Sunday.
Yep.
It's Claret and Blue against Claret and Blue here. Here is Peru on the left-hand side, producing a cross into the box, which is a little bit overhit, but it drops on the edge of the area. Heavy touch on the edge of the box by Ngoy, and now a chance maybe to escape. Lovely touch by Rodgers. Deft little ball round the corner. Plays it long now for Watkins to run in behind, and there's green grass for him to run into. Alexandru gets across, but Watkins has still got the ball inside the area, right side, pulls it back. And no one there to gobble it up. There was good defending in the end from Chancellor Mbemba. He kept the ball well. Tried to take on Alexandro. Didn't have the sort of bit between his teeth to pull the trigger there, though.
Yeah. He's been in that situation quite a lot, actually, this season, Ollie. Just couldn't get beyond Alexandro to get a shot away. Actually did well to then look for others arriving in the box, and the ball across the 6-yard line was cut out. But nice initial run from him and good movement.
Bouadi over the top for Giroud. Giroud thinks he's onside, rifles the ball into the net, and the offside flag goes up.
Good finish from Olivier Giroud, but he did look well offside when the ball was scooped through for him.
Just about.
I tell you what, yeah, he is.
It was just leaning in the wrong direction.
Yeah, lovely finish on the left foot. The ball bounces up and he waits for it to just drop that little bit, and he smashed it into the roof of the net, but always offside.
1-0 to Aston Villa. John McGinn's goal divides these two teams. 54 minutes on the clock when he slid that into the corner of the net. Set up by Jadon Sancho, instigated by the goalkeeper. Here is Sancho. Rodgers. The ball bounces on the edge of the area for Douglas Luiz, who takes it down, travels to the left edge of the box, produces a cross. It takes a little flick away by Peru. Collected by Felix, who tries to bring it clear. Referee says nothing doing, as a hand sort of is accused. As the ball goes into the box from Rodgers, looking for Watkins, it's headed away. Watkins still tries to bring it down, drops to his knees under pressure. The ball goes out of play on the far side and away for a throw.
Better, again, getting the forward players involved now a lot more. Morgan Rodgers has become livelier since the goal. I think Ollie Watkins has already come on and made some nice runs. Jadon Sancho better in the second half, more positive.
Onana trying to turn away from Bouadi. Loses possession momentarily, but Villa have got it quickly back. 62 minutes played. You're listening to Talksport on this Thursday night. Tomorrow night we're bringing you live football from the Premier League. Yes, tomorrow night, Bournemouth against Manchester United, live from the Vitality Stadium. Join us for that one from 7 o'clock. And then Saturday, it's Brighton. Here is Watkins into the area. Good turn, shoots towards the far corner, took a nick on the way through. It's out for a corner, it misses by about an inch. Brilliant hold-up play from Ollie Watkins. Superb, really, because he was played in by Morgan Rodgers. He was on the shoulder of the last defender, and he just escaped into a bit of space, came back, turned, fired a shot towards goal from inside the D, and it was narrowly wide after a little flick off the back of Alexandro.
Yeah, might well have been sneaking in that strike. Just a very slight deflection. He kind of turned the long way round there, Ollie, didn't he, to get that onto his right foot. The ball from Morgan Rogers was a clever one. Could have hit it first time with his left. Sort of did a big loop to get it onto his right foot. And the shot was, I think, maybe sneaking in without that deflection.
Douglas Luiz takes a short corner into Sancho, then on to McGinn, then back to Douglas Luiz, whose ball into the box is easily caught and cleared away. That long route round, though, actually bought him a little bit of space, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Because everybody else backed off.
They did indeed.
3 changes incoming for Lille in the next few moments, including Mateus Fernandes Pardo, scored at the weekend, and Hakon Arne Haraldsson, who also scored in their victory over Rennes at the weekend. Looks like we're also going to see Noah Ajuma as well, who's about to come on. Here comes Giroud again into the penalty area. Felt he was being pulled back there as the ball scooted past him. The referee said nothing doing.
Yeah, immediately turns to the referee there, Olivier Giroud, and just says, I had my shirt pulled there. Good ball into him again.
Douglas Luiz looking to release Sancho. It's another good ball, and he careers forward, takes it down well, shoots in towards the near corner and hits the meat of the post, and it ricochets straight out. Rogers into the box. He bobbled the ball off the inside of his shin there, and it goes out eventually for a throw-in. But what a chance for Sancho.
Yeah, much better from him though. Look, he's a bit unlucky there. He drives into the box on his right foot, pings it, and it absolutely rattles against the post and comes back out faster than the shot actually hit it. Honestly, it comes flying back out. But that's much better from him than receiving the ball and having a look and then dropping it back to a fullback. I can put up with that, live with that every day of the week. When he is nice and positive, takes people on and tries to either score a goal or make something definite happen.
In fairness to him, if it hadn't have hit the post and was just an inch inside it, the goalkeeper was well beaten, because it was high up to that near post and he was getting nowhere near it. It was hit so hard. Foul against Watkins, is accused of holding Mbemba. Referee says stop the game because we're going to make changes here. 3 of them, the ones that I mentioned. And on comes Valemarsson, Haraldsson, Mateus Fernandes Pardo, and Noah Ajuma. That means Buwadi has gone off now.
32
And that's Macau who's come off as well, and Felix.
See, last week Fernandes Pardo came on, actually looked quite bright in the first leg when he came on. Haraldsson as well started last week and was always quite busy, so quite rightly Bruno Genesio now is making sure that he has a bit of a go and just wants to see a little bit of a response. I think he knows it's going to be very difficult for his team now to try and turn this tie back around, but they've got to try it.
67 on the clock. Aston Villa 1, Lille 0, and it's just extra support for Olivier Giroud as well, with the likes of Fernandes Pardo out on this wide left position, and Haraldsson playing just in behind Giroud. Ball sent forward by Bentaleb, out towards the right. Mounier doesn't quite get there. Haraldsson now has it in the middle of the park. The small, blonde-haired Dane who runs up towards the edge of the area, and then I think he trips over the ball inside the penalty area there. There's claims for a penalty. It looked to me as if he'd tripped over the ball. He didn't get up and appeal straight away, did he? Which sort of gives it away a little bit. It's quite a vociferous reaction from the Lille fans, who are a lot closer to it than we were. That's given away by Bogard, and then Giroud tries to force it forward. It's put behind by Anana, and it goes out for a corner.
Well, they're all crowding around the referee as we have a look on our monitors here, Sam. Tell you what, he's bumped a little bit from Douglas Luiz. Probably not enough, but boy, I tell you, he catches his feet. I tell you, he's a little lucky there. It was right on the edge of the box, to be fair, but
might have been outside that.
Yeah, Douglas Luiz, I think, is a little fortunate to absolutely get away with that and just see that go out and a corner given.
Well, he's had one of those nights, Douglas Luiz, hasn't he, where you could see that coming. 68 on the clock. Haraldson takes the corner kick in towards the near post, flicked away by Bogard, then headed back in by Alexandro. Not the best of clearances, but now Sancho's got it. Oh, lovely little roundhouse. Takes it over the right-hand side. That was a lovely bit of skill from Sancho to get himself out of a tight knot and Aston Villa out of a tight knot as well.
Better. Love that. Really good bit of skill.
Ball clipped up towards the halfway line, headed away by Mounier. And it's out for a throwing over on the far side. This is Talksport. It's Aston Villa 1, Lille 0 in the Europa League, live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it tomorrow. Adrian Durham is doing the breakfast show with Ray Parlour from 6 a.m. And Crookie and I and Gabby will bring you the result of the England squad when it is announced after 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Make sure you're with us from 10 o'clock. Looking forward to that. Here is Watkins. Good take as sent upfield by Martinez. He thought he was going to get a foul there. The referee allowing play to continue. 21 minutes to go.
Are you expecting any surprises in that squad tomorrow?
Well, I heard you talking a little bit earlier on about it, and just wonder whether or not Dominic Calvert-Lewin might sneak in. If you're going to have someone come in from the cold, you've got to do it now, haven't you?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Not long now, of course.
I just wonder whether or not we might see Harry Maguire as well.
Right, okay.
You never know. We'll see what happens tomorrow, 10 o'clock. It'll be interesting to find out the list. Thomas Tuchel's been doing the rounds this week and watching some of the Champions League games. Here's Haraldson poking the ball down the right side. Pardo sends the ball in towards the near post and it goes out and away for a corner.
Yeah, they've done well actually, the two subs, Haraldson and Pardo, since he's come on. They combine nicely there. Pardo getting towards the byline, trying to whip it across for Giroud again, who was lurking in and around that near post position, but it was blocked for another corner on the far side.
Cross to be taken by Haraldson, the corner to be taken by Haraldson. Over on the far touchline in front of the Lille fans, who still in great voice. He sends it high into the air and Giroud's trying to get up there, and he does, and Douglas Luiz sticks out a foot and puts it over the top of the crossbar, and it was a good job he did, because coming round the back was Ngoy.
Great leap, wasn't it, from Giroud? The corner was an outswinger from Haraldson. Giroud climbed majestically towards the back of the 6-yard box, got his head on that, made good contact. Douglas Luiz hooks it away for another corner, this time off the other side.
Emi Buendia and Matt Cash are about to come into the fray as they have another corner here, Lille. Ball into the near post, this time towards Bentaleb, away by Anana. Scurrying to get it is Noah Njuma. Back to Peru, and he turns it all the way back to his goalkeeper. He runs up towards the centre circle, clips it high into the air. Flicked on by Ngoy, and then it goes out to the far side where Martson tried to tee it up for Douglas Luiz, but it was a little bit on the agricultural side, and there's a yellow card for Douglas Luiz.
Yeah, and I think that's as much for totting up probably as anything else. Ian Martson on the far side tried to reverse the ball to Douglas Luiz, it never got there, and then he makes the challenge, concedes the free kick, gets a yellow card.
It's a little bit off the pace tonight, Douglas Luiz, hasn't he?
Yes.
I wonder whether or not that time in Italy has done wonders for him, or the opposite.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
He hasn't been the same player since he's come back, really, has he?
No, I don't think so.
Substitution for Lille.
Alessandro coming off, and on comes Isamandi. It's a like-for-like switch, really.
Just seeing Matty Cash and Buendia waiting to come on because Douglas Luiz is on a yellow card now. I wonder if even Villa might think about changing.
Yeah, they could always push Lamar Bogard into a central midfield position and put Cash at right back.
Yep.
Here is Haraldson to take the free kick over on the far side, 10 yards outside the area. He goes short to Gamoa, who sends the ball low in towards the near post, and Jim's ball is headed away and then picked up by Rodgers, who sends it into green grass. Watkins trying to get there. Goalkeeper's going to get there first. His starting position was excellent. His alertness even better. His athleticism to get it was impressive.
Yeah, very good. As Ollie Watkins was sprinting after that, the goalkeeper on the edge of his box made sure that he got there first.
Well, the changes are Bogard for Cash and Buendia for John McGinn. A little surprised by that?
Well, John McGinn usually at the back end of a lot of matches, Sam, John is often replaced for the last 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, I suppose because he's been away for so long, 2 months with a knee injury.
He's been out for a while, so he got his goal, and it's lovely to get a nice round of applause off the Villa faithful as you leave, and it's a good night's work for John. It was just whether or not they were going to change the centre of midfield in that moment, but they've decided to do a like for like with Bogard and Matty Cash.
By Rogers, almost came through to Buendia, who's just come on, picked up by Douglas Luiz down. He's played it down the right, it's cut out by Peru, and then flicked inside by Fernandez Pardo, and then out to the far touchline where galloping down the right hand side is Ajuma. Ajuma loses control of the football, and it goes out of play and away for a throw-in over on the far side. 37,000 in here tonight, an impressive attendance for a Thursday night in the Europa League. And there could be more Europa League action to come for Aston Villa, with a date coming up shortly with either Roma or Bologna. The way things are at the moment, it will be Bologna they face. What a ding-dong game it is in the Olimpico. 3-2 now.
Is it indeed? Well, that's a great result for Bologna, that. If they can hang on and get that one done, that's some performance.
I mean, away from home, that's excellent, isn't it? I mean, look, you would say if you're Aston Villa, you'd rather play Bologna than Roma, but actually, if they're playing like that, it might be a tougher task. Well, we may find out in the not too distant future. 15 minutes to go. This is Talksport. And Juma getting down the right hand side. Oh, he goes to ground under pressure from Martson. He wants a penalty. The referee again declines to give it, and it's cleared away upfield towards the halfway line. Forward it comes with Bentaleb. He sends it wide to the left. Peru moves up towards the edge of the area, sends a cross into the box. Martson chests it down. Douglas Luiz lollops it into the air. Not a purposeful clearance. It's won by Bentaleb after Harautson did good work. Goes back out wide towards Mounier. Mounier trying to shift it in. Again, Ngoy's got there. A little bit slow from Aston Villa on the edge of their own penalty area. Not enough pressure on the ball as the ball goes out towards the right-hand side. And then Mounier on the overlap delivers a cross into the box. Sancho brings it down. He doesn't clear it properly. It comes back to Bentaleb via Harautson, and the pressure remains on. Here's Harautson. Bentaleb, edge of the area. It's picked up by Mandy. He sends it wide to the right. Ijuma gets it onto his left foot, parried away by Martinez to the edge of the box, and it runs loose, and Sancho dabs it into the path of Watkins. He sends it on. Across comes Chancellor Mbemba and gets there ahead of Rogers, and it goes out and away for a throw-in.
That's a good bit of play, that, from Lille. They kept the ball alive. Villa were having to really dig deep to make sure they didn't concede there in the end. A really good strike from Ejuma, one of the substitutes that come on about 10 minutes ago, and Emi Martinez gets a good look at it but still has to make sure he beats that one away. That penalty shout, I couldn't understand why Ejuma, once he's got the wrong side of Ian Maatsen, why'd you hit the floor?
Well, he did, didn't he? Because it wasn't a foul.
It wasn't a foul. He's just literally crumbled to the ground looking for a pen. You think, we've done the hard bit. You've gone past your defender. You're bearing down on the goal.
Oh, brilliant take out of his feet, out of the sky by Watkins down the left side. Low ball in towards the near post. There's no one there to tap it home. It was brilliant across the edge of the 6-yard box from Ollie Watkins. Sancho was coming in, but he wasn't there quick enough. Here is Douglas Luiz. 1-0.
Another great ball, Sam, from Emi Martinez, wasn't it?
Yeah.
To Ollie Watkins. Again, he's hit it 70 yards straight up the field. Really good. And Ollie Watkins, nice ball across the 6-yard box. Just didn't have anybody in there, but it was the right idea.
Remember, Nottingham Forest have already gone through tonight in the Europa League. 3-0 winners on penalties after 2-1 win in Denmark, 2-2 on aggregate, 3-0 on penalties. Midtjylland missed every single one of their kicks. In the UEFA Conference League, Crystal Palace are going to play Fiorentina after beating Larnaca after extra time. Here's Watkins trying to cause problems for Mbemba, and again he's penalised for holding. It might have been a handball there, which the referee has penalised in the end. There's a right old tussle going on between Watkins and Mbemba now, isn't there?
Yeah, there certainly is. Watkins backing in there, trying to stand his ground and receive the ball, but he felt he was impeded. Referee thought otherwise.
Well, Lille were always going to have to come out at some stage and start to take the game to Aston Villa. They've done that the longer the second half has gone on. Since the goal that was scored by John McGinn gave Villa a 2-0 aggregate lead. Fernandez Pardo with a cross into the box, which is very heavy. He was cutting in from the left-hand side. His right-footed dink into the box. It's got too much air underneath it, and it flew behind, and it's out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. Well, they've been pretty reliable in Europe, even when they faltered domestically, Aston Villa. They've won each of their last 6 UEFA Europa League games. They're the only English team to put together a longer winning streak in the competition, with Chelsea back in April 2013 and November 2018, an 8-match run which encompassed the final in 2013 of this competition. They won that in Amsterdam. It's Branislav Ivanovic who scored in stoppage time. A header. Big moment. Here is substitute defender Isam Mandi. Moves the ball upfield into Bentaleb. As Lille try to come forward, it's clipped out towards the far side. Chested down by Martson and then seen all the way back to the heart of the defence. And if you're Aston Villa now, what you really want to do is shut the game down.
Yeah, you manage it now. Again, they're good at that. I think they can do that very well. Morgan Rogers losing it in a poor area there, but Onana winning it back pretty quickly.
Just slipped, didn't he? And it goes through to Douglas Luiz, who tries to curl it out to the right side, and again that goes straight out of play.
He's played some strange passes tonight, Douglas Luiz.
Unai Emery will be checking that documentation. They didn't bring his brother back from Juventus, did they?
Yeah.
You're listening to Aston Villa 1, Lille 0 in the Europa League live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. Well, 10 minutes to go. He looks a little bit tense, Unai Emery. He always looks tense. Doesn't matter if they're winning 3-0, he looks a bit tense. But I'm not sure he'll be sitting 100% comfortably, just because I think he'll want his team just to sort of kill the game now. Martinez kicks the ball clear into the air. It's headed forward by Bentaleb. This competition's so important to them. I mean, you were saying earlier it might be their best route back to the Champions League. I mean, they are still 4th in the Premier League at the moment, but they do have some seriously tough fixtures to come over the next few weeks. West Ham Sunday, we've mentioned. Forest away is not going to be an easy one with them fighting for their lives. They have Sunderland here, Fulham away, Tottenham, Burnley, Liverpool and Manchester City, their last 2 fixtures as well.
Yeah, they've got some tough ones, all right. They certainly have. Looks like Harvey Elliott is getting strips.
Wow.
Sam, yeah.
Well, I think his deal actually means that he can't play in the Premier League if he's 10 appearances in the Premier League.
Okay.
I don't think the cup competitions count. Because the problem, if you're not aware, is that Harvey Elliott signed on loan from Liverpool. There was a deal done where if he played a certain number of appearances, Villa had to buy him, and they don't want to. Here is Haraldsson. Watkins had just lost the ball running up the pitch with it at his feet. And now Lille come forward again. Down the left with the blonde-haired Haraldsson, the Icelander. Into Bentaleb. Back infield it goes to Chancellor Mbemba. And wide to the right. And Iguma tries to get to the edge of the box, goes on the outside, gets into the penalty area. He's shuffled away by Martson. It was good defending by the Dutchman, and it's cleared upfield towards Ollie Watkins, who this time does generate a foul, and he's duel with one of the defenders, and Mbemba is penalised.
Yeah, and every time a foul is made against a Villa player now, it gives them a chance to just take their time. As we mentioned, Leon Bailey looks like he's getting ready to come on with Harvey Elliott.
And Harvey Elliott alongside Bailey just getting ready for his introduction. Roma 3, Bologna 3.
It's a game and a half, that one. Been some goals in Europe this week, hasn't there?
Do you know what? There have been a huge amount of goals in Europe this season, this week. Quite frightening how many goals have been conceded. But I think what happens is, far from it being cagey, people take the handbrake off properly, don't they?
Oh, yeah. And I was commentating on the Newcastle one last time. What a game that was. What a game that was. The 2-2 at half-time. Honestly, Newcastle right in the game. Right in the thick of the game.
That penalty really set them back.
Yes.
I was a bit surprised he didn't get sent off for that, Kieran Trippier.
I thought he should have. We said it at the time watching it. I couldn't understand why he didn't. But second half, then once Barca got going, and they can create chances, if you encourage them, then you're in trouble.
Jadon Sancho gets a standing ovation from Villa Park as he comes off in the second half, having produced a second half display which has contributed to them winning this game if they do that. Harvey Elliott is on his place, Rodgers is off as well, and on comes Leon Bailey.
Much better, Jadon Sancho tonight. All round, I thought he was quite sharp in the first half without really finding the end product. Second half, much better. I love that when the goalkeeper's got the ball and he's turning and sprinting up the field, asking Emi Martinez to find him, which he duly obliged with, and then he rolls it across the 6-yard box, and John McGinn gives his team the lead. But really good play, Sancho.
Elliott, after a good little over by Watkins, turns the ball back into midfield instead of trying to escape up the pitch. We've played 84 minutes at Villa Park, and Aston Villa are on the verge of a European quarter-final again. Here is Buendia out to the left, collected by Douglas Luiz, back into Onana, a slide by Bentaleb, round the corner from Olivier Giroud, picked up by Lindelof. He wants a forward pass here. Elliott buzzing, picks it up, plays it infield, keeps things moving. Harvey Elliott. So disappointing, I think, from his point of view that he hasn't played tough. So much football this year. He's apparently kept his spirits up really well.
Yes, really tough for him. You come out of Liverpool and you come to a club like this and you think, well, I'm going to get some valuable game time and give myself a chance to really put myself in the shop window.
Ball played round the corner brilliantly by Buendia, and Watkins is escaping. He sends the ball to Leon Bailey. It's 2-0, it's game over, and that should ease Aston Villa through to the quarter-finals of the Europa League. Leon Bailey, with his first goal since his return in January, puts the seal on it. Ollie Watkins, the provider, and Aston Villa are going through to the last 8 of the Europa League.
The goal scorer for Aston Villa, number 31, Leon.
Really nice goal. Very unselfishly played from Ollie Watkins. Oh, he might be offside, Sam. It's close. It's a very close call. The ball that is clipped through for him. Leon Bailey's good. He's okay when Watkins rolls it across to him, who puts it into an empty net. But the initial pass to Ollie Watkins is really tight.
Yeah, VAR are checking the goal because Ollie Watkins looked as if he may have been offside. There was a defender a little bit further back who was possibly playing him on, but the goal is given. Good. And that was the case. I just wondered whether or not there was a defender just on the near side who just hanging back a little bit, caused Lille a real problem. The goal is good. Aston Villa celebrate. They know now they're off to Italy for a quarter-final.
Yeah, great for Leon Bailey's confidence as well. That really nice work from Ollie Watkins. Lovely run where he spins from the central position out into the right-hand side, and then very nicely rolls it across the box. Goalkeeper takes him out of the equation. Leon Bailey has just a tap in.
Well, it was another good piece of play actually in the middle of the park, wasn't it? It started with Elliott into Buendia. Buendia round the corner, played it into Watkins, who went charging through. He could have fired it in himself.
Yeah, he could have had a go, you're right.
But he decided to give it to his teammate because it was a certain goal if he did that.
And that's the right thing to do.
It started with Martinez again though, didn't it?
Yes.
Long ball at the middle, headed away by Mbemba. Elliott, Buendia, Watkins, Bailey, 2-0. Bosh.
Yeah, just looking at Chancellor Mbemba, I don't know where he's going, because he tried to challenge for the initial ball from Emi Martinez, and when he got up, Ollie Watkins had spun off him.
I love the celebration from Unai Emery, who thrust his fist up into the air and he celebrated with gusto. He got very animated. He looked like he was doing a bit of a dad dance, really, enjoying that.
I think he recognises the importance of Villa winning this one and winning it well.
Well, he's won this competition a lot, isn't he? He's the master of it.
He's the specialist at this one.
He knows that if they win it this time, he gets a Champions League place.
Correct.
And it just gives them a little bit of an extra cushion because they need the money. They need the headroom to be able to strengthen the squad and compete at the top end. He's a good manager. He's put them into a brilliant position. Olivier Giroud's put the ball in the net, but the ball was well out already. Everyone else had stopped playing and started moving up the pitch.
Yeah, Pardo actually just got the wrong side of Victor Lindelof there as that ball bounced into the box. But I think it had already gone out. Yeah, it's
only
well
5 yards.
Sorry, but yeah. He's almost in the car park there, really, actually, when he hooked that one back.
Well, it's a surprise that anyone can get in that car park. You can't get a pass for love nor money.
Sam,
you got in there.
You know, so.
Yeah, I can imagine. Once you just pull up to the front gates. me and Dave had to come on the train. We weren't allowed. Not allowed to bring our car into the postcode. Ralston loses the ball. Elliott picks it up. Buendia into Watkins. Watkins tries to shift it on to Bailey again, who just lost his footing at the vital moment. It's scuppered away and sent out on this near side and away for a throw-in down by the corner flag. Aston Villa 2, Lille 0 on Talksport. And it's about to be a victory for Aston Villa that takes them into the quarterfinals of this competition. It'll be a 9th win in 10 Europa League matches, and 2 years on from their Conference League quarter-final defeat on penalties to Aston Villa, Lille are in danger of crashing out of Europe at the hands of the same opponents. Ball sent long up to Watkins, and Mbemba away, but Watkins is going to gobble that up. Good strength by him. Elliott in the centre circle, comes forward. He's got Bailey to his right. They've got numbers flooding the box here. Leon Bailey goes on the outside, pulls it through the 6-yard box away by Ngoy, and it's out towards the near side. Bailey keeps it alive, plays it against the defender, and somehow that's gone out for a goal kick.
Tell you what, second half, Martinez has been great with the ball at his feet, because he's looked long more often than not, and he's pinged some beautiful balls. He did it for Sancho for the McGinn goal. Ollie Watkins, since he's come on, has been great in terms of holding it up. The goalkeeper's fizzed a few into him. Oh,
given away, and it was almost gobbled up by Ollie Watkins.
Oh, he's trying to pass it.
I don't know what the goalkeeper was trying to do there. Inside his box, he had the ball with him, and then he didn't, and he had to smother it in the end and stop Watkins from scoring another goal. You said it though at the beginning of the game, didn't you, when they played a couple of balls over the top early in the match. You said there's nothing wrong with that.
No, get it up to the forward guys, especially when you're second half going towards the Holt end, and I think they've done that better second half, much better. I get the way that Unai Emery likes his team to play, and that they want to control and they wait for the right moment to try and play through the lines and through the thirds and all of that. But keep your forwards involved. Give them something to charge around for and run onto. They've done that well second half.
I have to say, I think Ollie Watkins should have put that chance away just then.
Should have done. Should have scored. Yeah, he's tried to pass it to Douglas Luiz. The goalkeeper would give it to him.
The goalkeeper's given them the ball, and he's, instead of putting it back past him and into the net from 7 yards, he's tried to pass it to his teammate. Didn't see how many minutes we got added. 3 minutes added at the end of the 90. And we're into that now, with Aston Villa on course for safe passage into the last 8 of the Europa League. Given away cheaply again by Lille, gobbled up by Elliott, who immediately tries to fizz that through to Ollie Watkins. He almost made it. Bailey takes it out of the sky beautifully with the instep of his foot. He moves in towards the edge of the area now, slips it into Harvey Elliott. Elliott goes down under the goalkeeper's pressure, and he says, well, he got a touch on the ball.
Yeah, he just didn't quite tow it past the goalie enough, Harvey Elliott. Lovely flowing move from Villa. Excellent work from Leon Bailey. And a really good run from Harvey Elliott. Better touch, he'd have gone round the goalie there.
Fernandez Pardo does go round Matt Cash, gets to the left side of the area. Lille on the attack in the late exchanges here, headed away by Martson. They don't want to concede late on Aston Villa, who are about to join Nottingham Forest in the latter stages. Bentaleb with a poor, tame effort straight down the throat of Emi Martinez, and surely now the game is over. Emi Martinez is just turning round to the referee and saying, It's over, right? Just blow your whistle. And the referee saying, stop talking to me, kick the football. He put his hands in the air and started counting down. The countdown is over now. Now, his mood has not been great this season, but Unai Emery always seems to be happier on a Thursday night. Aston Villa march on in Europe and continue to fly the flag for the Premier League in the Europa League. They join Nottingham Forest in the quarter-finals of this competition, a competition which Unai Emery knows so very well. Lille were the comeback kids in Belgrade in the playoff round, but they couldn't summon the energy and the finishing prowess tonight, especially in the white-hot atmosphere of Villa Park, who are absolutely delighted that John McGinn converted the chance that Sancho made for him after Emi Martinez's long kick downfield. The second goal was similar, brilliantly sent into midfield, held up well by Watkins, Buendia from Elliott, and then down the right for Watkins, who squared it for the arriving Leon Bailey. 2-0 to Aston Villa, 3-0 on aggregate. A successful night for the Villains, who march on to the quarter-finals of the Europa League.
Sam, thank you very much. This game was brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports. That's the home of European football. And let's look over the game as a whole then with Andy Townsend. And Andy, at the end of the day, it's job done for Aston Villa and through to the quarter-finals, which is the main thing.
Yeah, I always felt, Natalie, coming to Villa Park today, that this Villa team would have too much for Lille. First half was a little low-key, but second half much better, much more expansive, and got the goals at good times tonight and comfortably go through the tie.
That first goal, let's just talk about that, for the vision from Emi Martinez to set things off.
Wasn't it terrific? Yeah. Really good. Because it was Nabil Bentaleb, who hit a free kick from about 5 yards out. But Emi Martinez had to dive quite smartly to his right to make sure he got it and hang on to it. And then as soon as he gets up on his feet, he runs towards the edge of the area and fizzes it to Jadon Sancho. Made a really good run. And it was much better from Jadon Sancho second half. I like the way that he was asking people to get the ball out to him as quick as they could, and he used it well. But Emi Martinez, brilliant spot, fantastic forward pass, and from there Sancho produced a lovely pass from McGinn, and it was 1-0 Villa.
It's a third successive European quarter-final for Aston Villa, having reached the Conference League semi-finals, the Champions League quarter-finals, I should say. They do seem to enjoy these European nights.
Yes, yeah, they do, and I think they genuinely feel this time round that they can really go the distance in this competition. I've said all along that I'm trying to spot a team in there that might have too much for them over two legs. I think they manage European football matches particularly well. Nottingham Forest have come through it tonight. Might fancy a game over two matches against Villa if it comes to that, but certainly it's it's a competition I've always felt all along that Villa can win this. I really, really do. I've said for a while, Natalie, I feel the Villa team are ready to win a competition. They've slipped away in the league, but this one I still believe they can get it done. I really do.
But do you think there's still more to come from them as well, Aston Villa?
Well, I think look, they haven't rediscovered totally yet the form that they were showing back in October, November. They haven't found that yet. But it's amazing in football when all of a sudden things are going well. Then you hit the buffers a bit. You had a bad spell. But if you keep believing and keep playing, injured players start to return, and all of a sudden things get better and brighter, and your form and confidence returns. I saw signs of that second half today. Much better, much better.
And when you consider, I know it's been spoken about all week, what's happened in the Champions League for the Premier League sides. Tonight has been a good night for Premier League sides, with also, as we mentioned, Villa Forest going through to the quarterfinals of the Europa League. Crystal Palace going through to the quarterfinals of the Conference League as well.
Yeah, indeed. No, I totally agree with that. Some of our better teams from the Premier League have found it very tough in the Champions League this week. I watched Arsenal a couple of nights ago, and I thought they were very thorough and got the job done very straightforward, very professionally against Bayer Leverkusen. Liverpool got it sorted last night, produced one of their best performances for some time last night. So yeah, good to see that there's a very healthy representation still from our clubs, as there should be. There should be in European competitions. We do have some really strong teams, and it's good that across the board there's a very healthy spread still.
And bear in mind the result they've had tonight, and I know pre-match we spoke about their Premier League form and how they've sort of really have had a trickier time in 2026. I think actually they've accrued fewer points than the bottom club Wolves since the turn of the year. That's how disappointing it's been for Aston Villa. But do you think they can go obviously further in this competition but also pick up in the Premier League, or is it just too much to juggle?
No, I think they can. I genuinely feel that they will always want to be as competitive as possible. They've got a home game here at the weekend against West Ham, who are scrapping away and battling away for their Premier League survival. So, but Villa should be confident now. Home matches are going to be really key. They've got to look to win them all, whoever it is that comes here. It wasn't long ago before that Villa had such a strong record at Villa Park. They were so difficult to play here, and they lost a bit of that recently. So tonight is the start of perhaps rediscovering a bit of that form, finding it again. They got another opportunity, as I say, at the weekend with a home game against a team that are struggling. So they've got to look to win it.
The interesting thing is the way that the draw pans out is that if both Forest and Villa get through their quarterfinals, they will meet in the last four. So that will, in that sense, see a Premier League team yet again go through to the final, which will be obviously great for the league and everything that does for the coefficients, etc. But right now, it is time, Andy, for us to pick our man of the match from the Aston Villa Lille game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here For It hero on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
All right, Andy, it all comes down to you. Who do you think was the best?
Well, look, there were some good performances tonight. Emi Martinez did really well with the goals, but I'm going to give it to Jadon Sancho. It's not always been straightforward for Jadon in a Villa shirt. He's had little flashes here and there, but tonight, particularly second half, I saw much better from him. A lot more positive, taking people on, and I'm going to give him the man of the match tonight.
Superb. Jadon Sancho is our Here For It hero, man of the match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.